If you are someone who's had your learner's license for a while and you now want to get your restricted motorbike license, or if you are just wanting to know the skills you require to pass the RE course, then this video is for you. I guarantee you that by the end of this video, you will essentially know all the skills that you need to master or to practice and get your restricted motorbike license here in Australia. To get a RE license, you must have held your learner's license for at least 3 months of time. If you want to know how to get your learner's license, I've made a video on my channel previously that will help you understand the necessary steps that you need to take in order to get your learner's license. Once you are comfortable with your motorcycle riding skills and you can perform all the maneuvers on the motorcycle confidently without any supervision, that is when you apply for a RE license. In today's video, we will see all the necessary skills that you need to master and achieve your RE license. Before we get started, I want you to understand the circuit setup where you will be performing your motorcycle skill test. The circuit will have a circular path and a set of straight paths within which you will be performing all the motorcycle skills. So all the motorcycle skills that you'll be performing will be within this 360-degree setup. So you'll be going clockwise and anti-clockwise on your motorbike in this circular path, and you'll be performing some straight line tasks. Without further talking, let's discuss all the motorcycle skills that you need to master to achieve your restricted license. The instructor is ready on his motorcycle. He taps in the first gear, waits for a sec, and performs head checks before he takes off. So remember, do as much as head checks you can and mirror checks you can before you take off. This is something the instructor will observe. That's a nice smooth corner, gets into the straight line. And there you've got to observe that there's an obstacle which you need to avoid either by going left or right of the obstacle. Let's have another look how the instructor performs this task. This is basically just a warm-up. Slows down before taking the left corner. Takes a nice and slow left corner, comes into the straight line. Push left, straight, push right, and continue. Task number 2, clutch control or slow speed maneuvering. So in this task, all you have to do is you will have a tight blue section. So before you enter that tight section, you'll have to set your vehicle on second gear. You're not going to use brakes and accelerator within that blue tight section. You're basically going to maneuver your motorcycle in second gear using half clutch. So just remember that you shouldn't stall your motorcycle and put your legs down. Those are the kids in the background practicing for their learner's permit. So let's have another look how the instructor performs this slow maneuvering task. There you go, comes into the straight, sets his bike in second gear, no brakes, no acceleration, just uses a half clutch and slowly maneuvers in that tight section. Number 3, figure 8. So this is one of the most trickiest motorcycle skill. Most of the students were actually scared to perform this test because the figure 8 was so compact and the cones were set up so tight, so you psychologically get stressed, but nothing to worry. If you practice them, you'll get through it easily. Observe how the instructor starts slow and he tries to explain that if you keep your motorcycle in a slow pace, it's difficult to perform this task, but instead if you maintain a steady pace like how he's doing it now, carefully observe that he's maintaining a faster pace than how he started and he's able to achieve the figure 8 without any complications. So this is basically how you perform figure 8. So the tip here is make sure you maintain a steady pace, be confident, don't be nervous, and you'll get through it. Let's watch how a student performs this figure 8. This was my favorite task. I call it the snake, or you can call it zigzag. So the key thing to remember in this task is that you're not supposed to look down into the cones, but instead you have to have a balanced vision of looking straight and also looking down. So carefully observe how the instructor performs this task. Takes a nice slow left corner, comes into the straight line, smooth and soft, no panic, looks straight ahead and completes the task. The snake move plus obstacle avoiding. So you pretty much have to do the same snake move, but in this task you'll also have an obstacle to avoid. So in this case, this student there did a mistake, so I'll tell you how this task works. So you perform your snake move and you take the left corner and you come into that blue tight section. So just before entering that blue section, the instructor will either move his left hand or he'll move his right hand. So you have to avoid the obstacle that's in front of you, and then you have to continue your circuit. So remember that if the instructor moves his left hand, for you it's right. Let's see if the student gets it right this time. So the instructor goes on a 360, performs his snake move there, takes the left corner, comes into that blue section, there you go, avoids the obstacle and continues. So this is pretty much what you need to do in this task. So the main thing that the instructor will observe here is your reaction time. You need to be quick and also smooth at the same time. You're not supposed to panic. The student here was too late in showing the direction. The instructor already passed that blue line. I hope you get the idea of this task. It's a bit tricky, but it's easy. Let's see it again. The instructor performs the zigzag, takes the left corner, comes into that blue section. There you go. And keep continuing. Emergency braking. So carefully observe how the instructor stops his motorcycle. Takes a nice smooth right corner, comes into the straight line, boom. So the key thing to remember here is the instructor can raise his hand any moment when you're into that straight line. So you have to use your front brake and rear brake together and pull in the clutch before you do that. It doesn't matter which gear you are in, all you need to do is pull in the clutch and be ready to stop. There you go. The last and the final task is giving way to others. So giving way to others is a group task. So in this circuit setup, you will have an outer circular circuit around which yourself and the other students will be performing 360s. So the key thing in this task is you have to give way to the other bikers. So the instructor now is demonstrating how to perform a 360 on the outer lane. So that's basically the outer lane. So in the outer lane you don't have to give way, but now carefully watch what happens when he comes into the inner lane. So there you go, he comes into the inner lane. So you come into the inner lane when there are no other bikers and it's empty. You stop there. And basically at this situation, all the other bikers are still moving around you. So all you need to do is make sure that you do a mirror check and a head turn before you take off. That's the key point. So carefully observe, you come into the inner lane when there's no other bikers, you stop there at the red cones, give way to the other bikers, check your mirrors, do a head turn and take off slowly. So this is the first scenario of giving way. So the second scenario is basically simple. You do the same thing, but at this time instead of coming straight, you do a S curve. as the instructor in this video is performing. You come to that red cones, give a stop, look left, look right, and then you take off. So this task is similar to the task that you did in figure 8, but here instead of figure 8, it's just a figure S. So let's carefully observe again how the instructor performs this task. Gives way to other bikers, takes the left corner, comes into that S circuit when it's empty, nice and smooth. Remember that all these tasks that you're doing, you should never keep your legs down and you should install your motorbike. So stops at the red cone, does a head check and gives way to the others. So that brings us to the end of part 1 of our assessment. I did my RE course through Motorcycle Masters on the Gold Coast. I had taken my own motorcycle and my own gears, but they provide you with a motorcycle and all the gears that you need. So after the end of part 1 of your assessment, you'll have the part 2, that is after a lunch break, where you'll be doing live public riding. It might sound complicated and scary, but there's nothing to be scared of. It is basically going to be the same thing that you were doing on your learner's license with your supervisor. It's just that in this case, it is the instructor who's going to observe you. It's going to be easy, so nothing to panic. But the only thing I regret is I could not take a GoPro at that time because I did not have a GoPro. However, I got a chance to record this one task. So basically, you'll be taken to a hilly road and the instructor will ask you to stop the motorcycle on top of the hill and you're supposed to take off without stalling the motorcycle. So this is one of the important tasks. That brings us to the end of this video. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and show some love and support. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below and also check my description box. I'll see you all in another video. Until then, stay safe, take care and have a good one.